The National Basketball Association (NBA), now one of the most recognized sports leagues in the world, had a far less glamorous beginning. Its origins were rooted in practicality rather than ambition. It was created to fill empty dates in hockey arenas during the late 1940s. In 1946, the Basketball Association of America (BAA) was founded. 11 teams participated in the inaugural season, and the very first official game was played on November 1st, 1946, between the New York Knicks and the Toronto Huskies. While it marked the start of organized professional basketball, the league initially struggled with low attendance, limited media coverage, and financial instability. Despite these challenges, standout players such as Joe Fulks brought attention to the game. Fulks led the league in scoring and helped the Philadelphia Warriors secure the first BAA championship. However, financial losses forced several teams to fold in the league's early years. National Basketball League. The BAA gained traction by recruiting top teams and talent from a rival league. The National Basketball League (NBL) was the Minneapolis Lakers, led by center George Mikan. Mikan became the NBA's first dominant superstar, and his impact was so profound that the league modified several rules to maintain competitive balance. In 1949, the BAA and NBL merged to form what is now known as the NBA. The league initially had 17 teams, but this number quickly decreased due to financial constraints. Still, this merger laid the foundation for the league's structure and future growth. Progress was not limited to the court. In 1950, Earl Lloyd became the first African-American player in NBA history, alongside Chuck Cooper and Nat Sweetwater Clifton. This marked a turning point in both sports and civil rights history. The early 1950s were marked by slow-paced games, often with low scores due to stalling tactics. In 1954, the NBA introduced the 24-second shot clock, a revolutionary move that significantly improved game pace and fan engagement. The same decade saw the introduction of the league's first Most Valuable Player (MVP) award, with Bob Pettit winning in 1956. Players like Bob Cousy and Paul Arizin helped popularize fast-paced, skillful basketball. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics, led by Bill Russell and coach Red Auerbach, began their dynasty in 1957. Russell's focus on defense, leadership, and teamwork redefined the game's priorities. The Celtics dominated the league in the late 1950s and into the 1960s, winning 11 championships in 13 seasons. At the same time, Wilt Chamberlain emerged as a dominant offensive force. In 1962, he famously scored 100 points in a single game, a record that still stands. His rivalry with Russell became one of the defining features of the era. Oscar Robertson also made a lasting impact during this period by becoming the first player to average a triple-double over an entire season, showcasing the evolving versatility required of professional athletes. The 1969 NBA Finals closed a remarkable chapter. Bill Russell retired as an 11-time champion, while Jerry West, despite being on the losing team, earned Finals MVP, the only player in league history to do so. That same year, Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, entered the league. He made an immediate impact, and alongside Oscar Robertson, led the Milwaukee Bucks to an NBA title in 1971. Did that happen? By the 1970s, the NBA was no longer just a side hustle for hockey arenas. It was becoming serious business, but even with growing popularity, the league still had its quirks. The decade was full of wild plays, big personalities, and some serious "did that just happen?" moments. This era wasn't about one team ruling everything. It was a basketball free-for-all where anyone could rise, and often did. In 1972, the Los Angeles Lakers decided they'd had enough of almost winning. With Wilt Chamberlain anchoring the paint and Jerry West finally exhaling after years of heartbreak, they won a record 69 games and went on a 33-game win streak. That's the longest in NBA history. To put it simply, the Lakers were on cruise control and they never ran out of gas. West finally got his long-awaited championship ring. Some say it smiled more than he did. Meanwhile, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in Milwaukee, casually leading the league in scoring and picking up MVP awards like they were buy one, get one free coupons. But the following season, the New York Knicks came back with a mission. Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, and Earl Monroe were locked in like a championship puzzle, finally complete. Monroe, often known for style, played his best playoff basketball yet. He brought the substance to match the swagger. Around the same time, Nate "Tiny" Archibald pulled off something unbelievable. He led the league in both points and assists in the same season. That's like being a rock band's lead singer and drummer while holding the mic and playing in rhythm, a rare feat that still stuns fans today. Boston Celtics. In 1974, the Boston Celtics made their way back to the top. John Havlicek lit up the scoreboard and Dave Cowens controlled the paint like it owed him rent. They outlasted Kareem's Milwaukee Bucks in a 7-game showdown that also marked the final season of the great Oscar Robertson. The Big O exited the stage with grace, and a ring in hand, Golden State Warriors. Then came 1975. The Golden State Warriors, led by Rick Barry, and his famous underhanded free throws, yes, those worked, shocked everyone by sweeping the Washington Bullets in the finals. Barry wasn't just scoring, he was orchestrating. It was beautiful chaos. Meanwhile, Kareem kept doing Kareem things, dominating every stat sheet, but his time in Milwaukee was winding down. That offseason, he requested a trade and landed in Los Angeles. Hollywood had just added its leading man. Boston made more noise in 1976, with Havlicek and JoJo White leading the Celtics past the Phoenix Suns in a triple overtime thriller in Game 5, still one of the most dramatic finals games ever played. While fans held their breath, the Celtics had their lead. By 1977, the NBA had an upgrade. The ABA had merged. With that, the league jumped to 22 teams and welcomed high-flying stars like Julius Erving, Dr. J, and George Gervin. It was like the NBA added fireworks to its halftime show, but it was the Portland Trail Blazers who stole the spotlight. With a healthy Bill Walton, yes, that happened. They beat the Sixers in 6 games. Walton passed, defended, and rebounded like a red-headed wizard in sneakers. Through it all, Kareem was the league's North Star. His skyhook was nearly unblockable, and he just kept collecting MVPs. Even when his team didn't win, he was always part of the conversation, like that one student in class who always gets an A, even if the group project falls apart. This decade gave us a lot. Frazier's cool, Cowan's hustle, Barry's bravado, and Walton's brainy brilliance. Expansion reshaped the league's map. The ABA brought flash and flair, and for the first time in years, the championship race was wide open. 7 different teams won titles between 1970 and 1979. The Celtics no longer owned the league. They were just another hungry contender in a league full of them. And then, just when you thought the 70s were winding down, something legendary happened off the court. In the 1979 NCAA championship, a young Magic Johnson outdueled Larry Bird in a game that did more than crown a college winner. It hinted at the NBA's future. That same year, Magic joined the Lakers, Bird joined the Celtics, and the league, it was about to become something even bigger. The NBA wasn't just a sport anymore, it became a show, and at the heart of the drama, Magic, Bird, Kareem, and soon, a guy named Jordan. The 1982-83 season kicked off with Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar grabbing their second ring, but behind the scenes, something big was brewing. Coach Pat Riley took over mid-season, slicked back his hair, and gave birth to Showtime, a Lakers style of basketball that was fast, flashy, and just a little bit fabulous. It was like basketball players put on sunglasses and walked into Hollywood, but the celebration didn't last long. In 1983, the Philadelphia 76ers made sure of that. They added big man Moses Malone, and suddenly they were unstoppable. Malone had predicted a faux, meaning they'd sweep through the playoffs, and while they lost one game, they came close. He and Julius Dr. J. Erving destroyed the Lakers in the finals. Malone got the finals MVP, and the Sixers finally got the ring they'd been chasing. The next year, the rivalry between the Celtics and Lakers took center stage again like clockwork. 1984 gave us one of the most legendary finals ever. Celtics versus Lakers, Game 7, calm and cold as ever. Larry Bird led Boston to the win. He also picked up the regular season MVP, his first of 3 in a row. Not bad for a guy who looked like your dad's accountant but played like a killer. In 1985, the Lakers bounced back, and guess what? Kareem was 38 years old and still winning finals MVPs. At an age when most players are signing autographs at golf events, he was skyhooking his way to another title. Magic Johnson, of course, was right there, running the show like a maestro with a basketball baton. Meanwhile, someone named Michael Jordan was quietly averaging 28 points a game in his rookie season. Quietly, of course, meaning everyone was watching him and going, uh-oh. In 1986, Boston came roaring back. They won 67 games and steamrolled their way to another championship. Bird was in his prime, making impossible shots look routine. Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish handled things inside like furniture movers with soft hands. The Celtics were so good, it felt like they were playing chess while everyone else was playing tag. But the Lakers weren't done. In 1987, Magic finally won his first regular season MVP and topped it by leading the Lakers past Boston in 6 games in the finals. His passes were so smooth that even the refs clapped. Magic won finals MVP, proving he wasn't just Showtime, he was the show. By 1988, the NBA was fully in Lakers territory. They became the first team to win back-to-back titles since Bill Russell's Celtics. James Worthy sealed the deal in Game 7 of the finals against the Detroit Pistons with a triple-double. His nickname was Big Game James for a reason. He saved the drama for when it counted most. Meanwhile, Jordan wasn't just knocking on the door anymore, he was breaking it down. He won his first MVP, the scoring title, and Defensive Player of the Year all in the same season. That's like winning Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Hair in one movie. He averaged 35 points per game and still had energy left to dunk from the free throw line. This era gave us everything: Magic's flash, Bird's grit, Kareem's wisdom, and Jordan's explosion. 8 of the decade's champions championships went to either Boston or Los Angeles. The league grew to 23 teams and the TV ratings soared. Every game felt like an event and every final felt like a movie premiere. The NBA wasn't just a league anymore, it was a stage. And the players, they weren't just athletes, they were stars lighting up every arena. The story starts with two basketball geniuses, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Their rivalry wasn't just exciting, it built the modern NBA. Magic brought the flash, Bird got the fire, and they brought fans back to the game together. But then the story took a hard left turn. The Detroit Pistons, a team so tough they made basketball feel like boxing and sneakers. The Bad Boys, 1989 to 1990. By 1989, the Pistons had been knocking on the door for years. Then they kicked it down. They didn't just win, they steamrolled the competition. They swept the Lakers in the finals, and Joe Dumars, the quiet assassin, shot his way to finals MVP. But the real talk of the town was the muscle. Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, and Bill Laimbeer. These guys played defense like it was personal. They didn't let teams score more than 96 points a night. That's not defense, that's theft. The Bulls were rising and Michael Jordan was dazzling. But Detroit had something called the Jordan rules. It wasn't a book, it was a battle plan. Step 1, hit him. Step 2, hit him again. Step 3, don't let him breathe. In 1990, Detroit ran it back. They finished 59-23, then won another title, this time over the Trailblazers. Isaiah had a third quarter in Game 5 that should be in a museum, and Vinnie Johnson hit the game winner with ice in his veins. Jordan tried to take them down again in the East Finals, but Detroit held on, barely. It was their last dance, but oh, what a loud one. They didn't care about fans, friends, or feelings, they just cared about winning. The Jordan era begins, 1991 to 1993. Then 1991 came. Jordan didn't knock on the door, he kicked it off the hinges. He won MVP, swept the Pistons, and beat the Magic's Lakers in 5 games. Magic still had the skills, but Jordan had taken the crown. He won Finals MVP, and suddenly a new dynasty was born. In 1992, Jordan grabbed another MVP and another ring. The Trailblazers tried to keep up, but MJ dropped 6 threes in one half during Game 1 and then gave the famous shrug, even I don't know what's happening. Meanwhile, Scottie Pippen was growing into a superstar, and the Bulls weren't just winning, they were cruising. That summer, things got even crazier. Jordan, Magic, Bird, and the rest of the Dream Team went to the Olympics and crushed every country like they were playing against high school teams. The NBA went global overnight. In 1993, Charles Barkley won MVP, but Jordan took that very personally. He averaged over 40 points per game in the finals and hit the game winner in Game 6. 3 titles in a row, a three-peat. The league belonged to him. A pause, a twist, and a return, 1994 to 1996. Then, tragedy. Jordan's father was murdered. Just like that, the NBA's brightest star walked away in October 1993. No goodbye tour, just silence. While the league caught its breath, the Houston Rockets took over. In 1994, Hakeem Olajuwon dominated the league. He won MVP and Finals MVP and led the Rockets to a title. Even without Jordan, the Bulls still held strong behind Pippen, but they couldn't close. The Knicks knocked them out, and Hakeem took down New York in a 7-game slugfest. In 1995, Jordan returned late in the season. He still looked sharp, but the Bulls were a work in progress. The young Orlando Magic, led by Shaq and Penny, beat them in the playoffs. Hakeem and the Rockets, meanwhile, swept Orlando and won their second title. Houston, we had 0 problems. But in 1996, Jordan came back angry and focused. The Bulls won 72 games, a record that stood for 2 decades. Jordan grabbed his 4th MVP, and the team added Dennis Rodman, the league's rebounding monster and part-time chaos coordinator. They beat Seattle in 6 games and took home their 4th title. MJ was back, and this time, it felt like no one could stop him. The era of legends, from Jordan's last dance to the rise of new dynasties. By the time 1997 rolled around, the Chicago Bulls weren't just a team, they were a worldwide phenomenon. But the Utah Jazz weren't there to be extras in the Bulls' blockbuster. With Karl Malone winning MVP and John Stockton running the offense like a conductor with a perfect baton, Utah gave Chicago a real fight. Still, even food poisoning couldn't stop Michael Jordan. His legendary flu game in Game 5 was a masterclass in willpower, sweat, and probably Gatorade. And in Game 6, when the Jazz thought they had Jordan cornered, he found Steve Kerr for the winning shot. Guess trusting the guy with the glasses was a smart move. Then came 1998, the real last dance. Everyone knew the Bulls were on their final tour together, but weren't ready to bow out quietly. They faced the Jazz again. This time, Jordan had one more trick up his sleeve. That final shot over Brian Russell? Picture perfect. He held the pose like a painter admiring his masterpiece. 6th title, 6 Finals MVP, curtain closed, And let's not forget, during this reign, the Western Conference wasn't lacking talent. Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, Malone, and Stockton gave it their best shot. But when Jordan was on a mission, there was no plan B. He won 5 MVPs in 8 years, led the league in scoring like it was a hobby, and never lost in the finals. The Bulls weren't just a team, they were a basketball machine. Pippen did the dirty work, Rodman grabbed every rebound in sight, and possibly a few that weren't. And coach Phil Jackson played chess while others played checkers. More than just winning, Jordan turned the NBA into a global brand. His shoes flew off shelves, his commercials played in every home, and his highlight reels raised the bar. He didn't just define greatness, he left on top, something most legends can only dream of. Then came the post-Jordan era, and Tim Duncan wasted no time. In 1999, during a shortened season thanks lockout, Duncan calmly led the Spurs to their first title, treating every game like a quiet business meeting. No flash, just fundamentals. He averaged over 27 points and 14 rebounds, earning Finals MVP with the same emotion you'd expect from someone folding laundry, deadly serious and effective. The new decade belonged to a different pair, Shaq and Kobe. In 2000, with Phil Jackson now guiding the Lakers, Shaq was an unstoppable force. He won league MVP and finals MVP and probably scared a few rims into early retirement. Young and fiery, Kobe played like he was born for this stage. Together, they led LA to its first title since the Magic Johnson days. Then came 2001, a near-perfect playoff run. The Lakers went 15-1. Shaq dominated the finals against Allen Iverson's Sixers, and Kobe terrorized the West like he had a grudge against everyone. In 2002, they completed the three-peat by sweeping the Nets. Shaq grabbed his third straight finals MVP, and the Lakers looked untouchable. Until things started cracking. Shaq and Kobe's partnership was like a volcano, powerful but always on the edge of eruption. In 2003, Tim Duncan stepped in again. With David Robinson retiring and the Spurs shifting to a younger core, Duncan delivered 60 wins MVP and Finals MVP again. The Spurs outlasted the Nets and reminded everyone that calm, quiet excellence was still deadly. Then came the plot twist of 2004. The Lakers added Karl Malone and Gary Payton, creating what looked like an all-star team on paper. But paper doesn't play defense. Detroit does. The Pistons didn't care about names or hype. They just played hard, smart basketball. Their defense smothered the Lakers, and Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot, won Finals MVP. Detroit won in 5 games, and the mighty Lakers collapsed like a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Shaq was traded to Miami. Kobe stayed in LA, and just like that, one of the most dominant duos in NBA history came to an end, not with a handshake, but with a silent, dramatic exit that could have used a narrator. The NBA's shifting power, 2005 to 2010. In 2005, Tim Duncan quietly walked back to the NBA throne like he never left it. No drama, no noise, just buckets, rebounds, and smart basketball. The Spurs battled the tough and determined Pistons in a grueling 7-game finals. And guess who stood tallest when it mattered most? Yep, Duncan. He earned his 3rd Finals MVP, proving that slow and steady doesn't just win the race, it wins championships. Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker were shining brighter now, but Duncan was still the calm engine under the hood. Then came 2006. Suddenly, Dwyane Wade hit the turbo button. The Miami Heat were down 0-2 in the finals against the Dallas Mavericks, and things weren't looking pretty. But Wade turned into a one-man hurricane. He sliced through defenders, made impossible shots, and told the basketball world, "Don't worry, I got this." Miami won 4 straight games, and Shaq got his 4th ring. But make no mistake, this was Wade's party. Shaq played the big brother role, but Wade, he was the one driving the car, probably without a license, but because that run felt unreal. In 2007, the Spurs said, "Don't forget about us." Tim Duncan and his crew swept LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals like they were spring cleaning. LeBron had made his first finals appearance, but San Antonio's experience, discipline, and defense gave him a crash course in championship-level basketball. It was like watching a college kid play chess against a grandmaster. LeBron would get his turn, just not yet. Tony Parker won the Finals MVP, and France officially added NBA champion to its tourist brochure. Then came 2008, and Boston brought the fireworks. They formed their super team by pairing Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen. It was like watching 3 Avengers team up, except with more sweat and fewer capes. They dominated the regular season, winning 66 games, and then crushed the Lakers in Game 6 of the finals to take the championship. The Celtics didn't just win, they broke the Lakers in that final game. It was so bad that the Lakers probably thought the scoreboard was broken. But Kobe Bryant doesn't forget. In 2009, he came back with one goal to win without Shaq, and he did it in style. The Lakers ran through the Western Conference and took down Dwight Howard's Orlando Magic in 5 games. Kobe averaged over 30 points per game and finally got that Finals MVP trophy he'd been chasing like it owed him money. Validation achieved. In 2010, Kobe got even, literally. It was a Finals rematch with Boston, and it went all the way to Game 7. The series was tough, physical, and intense, like basketball chess with shoulder bumps. But the Lakers pulled through and Kobe grabbed his 5th ring and 2nd straight Finals MVP. It wasn't just a win, it was a legacy checkmark. Between 1999 and 2010, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant ruled the NBA. In just 12 years, they won 10 championships. Duncan did it with quiet consistency and textbook footwork. Shaq powered through people like a human bulldozer. And Kobe, he transformed from a young sidekick to an unstoppable leader to a basketball legend. But this era wasn't just about collecting rings. The style of the game mattered too. Back then, it was all about post moves, block shots, hard fouls, and smart team defense. The Spurs played like a machine built in a science lab, clean, efficient, and precise. The Lakers brought style and Hollywood sparkle. The Celtics and Heat showed how teamwork, when mixed with talent and timing, could create magic. And while the old Kings were still dominating, a new wave was quietly rising in the background, players who would soon rewrite the NBA script once again. But that's a story for the next chapter. How the NBA passed the torch 2003 to 2012. When LeBron James entered the NBA in 2003, it was like a superhero had walked into a high school gym. Cameras followed him everywhere, fans called him the chosen one, and honestly, even the referees looked nervous around him. He was fast, strong, and smarter than half the league. Every game he played felt like a movie trailer, action-packed, unpredictable, and leaving you wanting more. But LeBron wasn't the only new face turning heads. Dwayne Wade stepped onto the scene and quickly turned into a final superhero. His 2006 playoff run was basically him yelling, "I got this," while the basketball world stared in disbelief. Meanwhile, Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash rewrote the offensive playbook. Dirk made one-legged fadeaways look like ballet, and Nash turned assists into an art form, like Picasso with a bounce pass. Kevin Garnett finally broke through the wall of almost and became a champion in Boston, screaming every step of the way. Chris Paul played like the smartest kid in class. Carmelo Anthony brought New York back to life briefly. And Dwight Howard was the gym teacher's dream, blocks, dunks, and muscles for days. And just as the decade closed, a skinny kid named Kevin Durant showed up shooting like a video game glitch. Still, if you wanted a ring in the 2000s, you had to go through one of 3 names: Duncan, Shaq, or Kobe. These 3 didn't just win, they controlled the league like bosses in a video game. Duncan did it with quiet power, like a librarian who could dunk on you. Shaq was a bulldozer in sneakers, and Kobe, he was the definition of focus, swagger, and late game terror. You could write entire books about their rivalries, and they still wouldn't cover all the drama. But by 2010, the NBA was ready for something new. And then, boom, Miami happened. LeBron shocked the world in the summer of 2010 by taking his talents to South Beach. He joined forces with Wade and Chris Bosh, forming what people immediately called the Heatleys. Some fans cheered, others screamed, and every sports channel turned into a LeBron reality show. The trio promised not 1, not 2, then, and you know the rest. Basically, they wanted to start a ring collection that could fill a jewelry store, but greatness takes time to cook. Their first season, 2010 to 2011, started bumpy. The Heat were 9-8 at one point, and Twitter was having a field day. Still, they figured it out. LeBron dropped 26 a night, Wade added 25, and Bosh handled the rest like the most talented third wheel ever. They made it to the finals, beating a tough Celtics squad and MVP Derrick Rose's Bulls along the way. Then, Dirk Nowitzki happened. In the 2011 finals, Dirk and the Dallas Mavericks pulled off a basketball heist. He hit clutch shot after clutch shot, while the Heat's offense disappeared faster than popcorn at a movie. LeBron's 8-point performance in Game 4 became legendary, but not in a good way. The Heat lost in 6, and the critics sharpened their pencils, but LeBron came back mad, focused, dangerous. The 2011 to 2012 season was shortened due to a lockout, which fans hated but players secretly appreciated because of less running. The Heat came out like a team on a mission. LeBron averaged 27 points, nearly 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, and he won his third MVP. But the real moment? Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. With Miami on the edge of elimination, LeBron dropped 45 points with a face so serious it probably made the Celtics question their life choices. No smiles, no talking, just business. The Heat then beat Oklahoma City in 5 games in the finals. KD was amazing, but the moment belonged to LeBron. He was named Finals MVP and finally silenced the noise. Validation unlocked. That wasn't just a title, it was a turning point. The Heat had arrived, the old era had officially passed the torch, and now the NBA belonged to a new kind of superstar, louder, faster, smarter, and ready to change everything. The NBA's super team era, 2012 to 2018. By 2012, the Miami Heat weren't just hot, they were boiling. The team finished the season with a jaw-dropping 66-16 record and went on a 27-game winning streak, the second longest in the NBA's history. At that point, it felt like they weren't playing basketball, they were doing cardio with style. LeBron James looked like he was playing on Hall of Fame mode while everyone else was stuck on rookie. He averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, and took home his 4th MVP trophy like it was just another Tuesday. The Heat were clicking so well that they could have won games blindfolded. Okay, maybe not against Indiana. Speaking of Indiana, the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals was like a heavyweight boxing match. It went to 7 games and nobody left the court without a bruise or an ice pack. But Miami survived and made it back to the finals. Enter the San Antonio Spurs, cool, calm, and dead serious. The 2013 finals felt like a chess match until Ray Allen hit one of the most iconic three-pointers in NBA history in Game 6. That shot saved Miami's season and sent the game into overtime. You could hear Spurs fans drop their nachos. Game 7, LeBron dropped 37 points and sealed Miami's second straight title. Another finals MVP for King James. Crown polished, doubters silenced. But by 2014, the cracks were showing. LeBron was still amazing as always, averaging over 27 points per game. But Wade's knees started reminding him he wasn't 25 anymore, and Bosch's scoring dipped like Wi-Fi during a storm. The Spurs came back hungry, like they skipped lunch for a whole year. Kawhi Leonard, just 22, played defense like a robot programmed to ruin your day and scored just enough to win Finals MVP. San Antonio's teamwork was so perfect, it felt like they were passing the ball by telepathy. They crushed Miami in 5 games, and then came the plot twist. LeBron left Miami in the summer of 2014 and returned to Cleveland. Fans cried, Twitter exploded, and the Heat's Big Three era ended quietly, with a long, slow fade to black. In just 4 years, Miami reached 4 straight NBA Finals, won 2 championships, and changed how NBA teams were built. LeBron stacked up 2 Finals MVPs and 3 regular season MVPs in that stretch. Wade was still the heartbeat of Miami, and Bosch, well, his versatility gave the team that secret sauce. The Big Three didn't just win, they started a new chapter in basketball, the why not just team up with your friends era. Love them or hate them, the Heat changed everything, from how teams formed to how fans talked about legacy. And just when the league caught its breath, the Warriors happened. From 2015 to 2018, the NBA basically became Cavs versus Warriors, the annual finals show. 4 years, the same matchup. It was like watching your favorite movie sequel, except it kept getting better. The 2015 Warriors were the new kids with energy, speed, and a bunch of threes. Under rookie coach Steve Kerr, they went 67-15. Steph Curry won his first MVP by shooting from distances that should have required a passport. Alongside Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, they played like they discovered a cheat code. The Cavs made the finals too, even though Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were out with injuries. That left LeBron doing everything. He was the coach, point guard, and snack vendor. He averaged nearly 36 points, but the Warriors' depth was too much. Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP for slowing down LeBron like getting a medal for outrunning a speeding train. 2016, historic. The Warriors broke the regular season record by going 73-9. Curry was named the first unanimous MVP, hit over 400 threes, and made defenders question their careers. They raced to a 3-1 lead in the finals against Cleveland. Then the earth shook. LeBron and Kyrie pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA history. LeBron dropped back-to-back 40-point games, recorded a triple-double in Game 7, and made the block on Iguodala, a moment that lives rent-free in every Warriors fan's mind. Kyrie followed it up with a clutch three-pointer that sealed Cleveland's first title. The Cavs became the first team to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the finals. It was beautiful. It was insane. It was pure NBA magic. Golden State, however, was not in the mood for emotion. In 2017, they responded, "Fine, we'll just add Kevin Durant." That changed everything. The 2017 Warriors were like the Avengers, but with better shooting. They finished 67-15 and breezed through the playoffs with a 16-1 record. Durant was unstoppable, averaging over 35 points in the finals and winning finals MVP. Curry, Klay, and Draymond played their roles perfectly, like a well-oiled basketball machine. LeBron did everything he could. He averaged a triple-double, but even superheroes get tired. Durant's Game 3, Dagger 3, in LeBron's face felt like a changing of the guard. By 2018, the pattern repeated. The Warriors were nearly unbeatable in the Cavs, while they were just hanging on. LeBron still performed like a legend, but the Cavs were overmatched without Kyrie, who had left for Boston. The NBA's new era, 2018 to 2025. By 2018, one of the most intense NBA rivalries, LeBron James versus the Golden State Warriors, ended with a thud, and by thud we mean a sweep. The Warriors didn't just beat the Cavaliers, they brought a broom and cleaned them up in 4 games. Golden State won 58 games that season, while Cleveland looked more like LeBron and whoever showed up on time. After trading Kyrie Irving, the Cavs leaned fully on LeBron, and to his credit, he delivered one of the greatest playoff runs ever. He averaged over 34 points per game in the playoffs, including a mind-blowing 51 in Game 1 of the Finals. Unfortunately, that game will always be remembered, not for LeBron's greatness, but for J.R. Smith's time-traveling moment. He grabbed the rebound and ran out the clock like the Cavs were winning. They weren't. LeBron's face said it all. The Cavs collapsed in overtime, and the Warriors took full control. Kevin Durant grabbed his second straight Finals MVP, and Golden State lifted their third title in 4 years. LeBron once again packed his bags and headed west, this time to the Lakers. But after that, the NBA turned into a wild ride where every season felt like a brand new show. From 2019 to 2025, there was no repeat champion. That's 6 different teams winning in 6 years. It's like the championship was a hot potato. Nobody could hold on to it for long. In 2019, the Toronto Raptors shocked the world, with Kawhi Leonard leading the charge and the Warriors falling apart due to injuries, Durant's Achilles and Klay's ACL. The Raptors said, "Why not us?" And just like that, Canada became a basketball country. Kawhi then left like a polite guest at a party. After winning, he quietly headed to LA. 2020 brought the bubble season, no fans, no travel, just basketball in Disney World. LeBron and Anthony Davis took the Lakers all the way, showing that greatness doesn't need a crowd even in an empty gym. Meanwhile, Giannis won MVP again and Defensive Player of the Year, but his playoff run ended early, proving that awards don't always mean rings. In 2021, Giannis came back angry, like dropped 50 points in a title-clinching game. The Bucks won their first championship in 50 years, and Milwaukee partied like it was 1971. At the same time, Nikola Jokic won his first MVP. It wouldn't be his last. Then came 2022, and the Warriors returned like a reboot. Nobody expected to work, but it did. Steph Curry finally got his Finals MVP, proving he's more than just a human cheat code from three-point range. Golden State took its 4th title in 8 years. 2023, Denver's time. Jokic dominated everything, scoring, passing, rebounding, probably even parking the team bus. The Nuggets won their first championship with Jamal Murray back healthy, and the Heat once again making an unexpected finals run. But this time, Miami ran out of magic and Jokic ran the show. By 2024, the Celtics decided it was their turn. After falling short the year before, they came back stronger. Jaylen Brown earned the Finals MVP, and Jason Tatum got his redemption. Boston's defense was elite, their depth was scary, and they beat Dallas in 5. Luka Doncic put up crazy stats, and Kyrie had his moments, but Boston didn't blink. Now it's 2025 and the league is still wide open. The Cavaliers are tearing up the East and going on a massive win streak, while the Thunder are locking teams up with the best defense in the league. Oh, and the Lakers? Yeah, they just pulled off a blockbuster trade, sending Anthony Davis to Dallas for Luka Doncic. LeBron and Luka on the same team. If that doesn't break the internet, nothing will. Golden State added Jimmy Butler because apparently they like chaos, and San Antonio is quietly building something scary with Victor Wembanyama, who already won Rookie of the Year and is just warming up. What makes this era special is the balance. There's no dynasty ruling the league, no Bulls, no old school Warriors. From the Raptors to the Celtics, everyone has had a chance. Player movement has flipped the NBA upside down. Kawhi moved twice, Durant bounced around like a touring musician, Harden's been everywhere except maybe Antarctica, and now Luka's in LA too. LeBron's still rewriting history. He won another ring, passed Kareem for the all-time scoring record, and still looks like he could play another 5 years. Jokic has 3 MVPs and counting. Giannis is putting up monster numbers, and now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is making noise with OKC. The future is bright, and it's coming fast. The NBA is barely recognizable style-wise. Teams shoot over 35 threes a game. Some nights it looks more like a three-point contest than a game, but that's the beauty of it. There's no single way to win. Denver did it with size and passing. The Warriors did it with speed and shooting. The Bucks used strength and grit. Everyone's got their recipe. And here we are with the 2025 finals just around the corner and no clear favorite in sight. Cleveland looks sharp but untested. OKC is young but hungry. Boston's deep. Denver's proven. Golden State is lurking. And LeBron and Luka? Well, let's say the West should be nervous. Even Detroit is turning heads. Yes, Detroit. It turns out that having a bench that can actually score is useful. International talent is thriving too. Toronto's win inspired a whole country, and Wembanyama is pulling fans worldwide. The NBA has more talent, stories, and chaos than ever before. This era isn't about dominance, it's about opportunity, and with a 7th champion in 7 years possibly on the way, it's clear the NBA is no longer ruled by one king, but a whole kingdom of stars. So if you don't want to miss a single update from the finals, stick with us, subscribe to our channel, and stay locked into everything happening in your favorite game. The best moments are just getting started.